Are we live? Ladies and gentlemen, are we live? Yes, we are live again as if by magic. How's everybody doing today on this kind of nice Monday, August 24th, 2026? And a little cloudy here in on Newport Harbor at our secret undisclosed location in on Newport Harbor, Newport Beach, California. And I am your semi or somewhat savvy, politically minded host, Abby Kaufman, and I'm here to chat about Democrats and democracy. And I want to apologize first thing for today's guest. I had David Petty, who's running for the Molten Niguel Water Board District, uh, had a water leak himself, and we had to postpone it until tomorrow. But tune in tomorrow for David Petty. And the reason I wanted to interview David in the first place is that he brings a cybersecurity background to the Molten Niguel Water District. And to my way of thinking, I I don't know if China will bring down the power grid. I don't know if Russia's going to bring down our power grid, or if some 17-year-old kid in his bedroom is going to take down our power grid. So you see, I mean, the threats are just all over, and I don't want to know what happens when our infrastructure gets attacked. But when Trump goes around saying we bomb Iranians, civilian infrastructure like that, well, turnabout's fair play, Don. So, and Don the Con, can anybody believe the level of corruption in that place? I mean, just him alone. It's just such a mafia deal. Uh, and like I said, what kills me is, he won the election. People voted for him. You guys voted for him. And, when I ask you, how or why, and for instance, I asked my friend John, I said, why January 6th enough to disqualify somebody? Should that person be banned from the presidency? And he kind of hems and haws and fudges. And I'm like, okay, even without that, let's take the 34 fraud conviction counts. Let's, how about the Stormy Daniels thing? How about, the scandals are just daily with this guy. And they really do kind of flood the zone with that. And they do put Democrats like me and us on the defensive. Uh, but, my thought is that if Democrats can stay united, if we can stay united, which is our email here, united at democracyradionetwork.com. And, we also, I want to tell you that the phone lines are open because I remembered to open them. And I want you to give us a call. Let us know what's going on in your world politically. Are you bummed that things are playing out? I mean, it's not whether you're bummed, but if you have any thoughts on how to deal with what's going on, please give us a call, 949-629-3820. We'd love to hear people's thoughts on this because dealing with Trump is, it's just it's sui generis. Like Trump is a class of one, and he's just that big of a jerk. But he put on enough fake concern and care to what to get you suckers to vote for him. And how does everybody feel that voted for him that has had their health care taken away, or couldn't afford the premiums, or had their rural health clinic closed? How many of you guys that voted for him got screwed in this deal? And in a way, everybody did just because of the deficit. He added 3.8 trillion, 10% to the deficit by himself. And if you look through his two presidential terms, if I'm not mistaken, he's up to 25% of the deficit. You imagine one guy being responsible for that? And all the time the guy's like, yeah, I'm such a financial genius. Well, let's kind of talk about that financial genius for a second, because what's going on in the U.S. economy is not exactly stuff of financial genius. If and if the Republicans can ever find a backbone, or like I say, if they find a backbone, let me know. But if they find a backbone strong enough to stand up to corruption, uh, and I think they said half the Congress was okay with what Trump does. I mean, how can this be? Don't you guys, kind of want America back? Don't you see this guy's just trying to hijack it? Now, I will say this much. If we can stick together, we Democrats can stick together. And I say, I don't care if it's a Democrat socialist. I don't care if it's a Democrat communist. I don't care if it's, I would draw the line at a Democrat child molester. Uh, but I just think that, it's just a travesty. And don't forget, it's going to be really hard. Let's assume things go well. And let's assume that we take the House fairly convincingly and we take the Senate. And let's say ye old House and Senate want to start some investigations maybe into the corruption. Well, it's going to be really hard to hold Donald Trump accountable. And you know why? Because he has so decimated the civil service, like the Department of Justice, that it's not really functional. He has reduced it to what Donald Trump wants is the purpose of the Justice Department. It's not to pursue fraudsters whom Trump considers just honest business people. And you know what? If Trump can consider these guys honest business people, I guess he can consider January 6th a walk in the park. But if anybody's taken the time to watch the investigative committee hearings, I think those were the Jamie Raskin hearings. And you guys can see with your own eyes. And is there a reason, particular reason, why we don't know? I take that back. Is there a particular reason we are not being told what the war cost is? And keep in mind, we pay for it, and appropriated through the Congress. So you're left with this guy that. So anyway, if he takes over the Department of Justice, it's just gonna be an extension of what he wants. There's no fraud unit. There's no, I don't know, a crypto fraud unit. There's no whatever it is. It's just gone. So whoever comes after Trump, is going to get a shell of a government. Is that the way it works? Well, I say Donald Trump's in a class of his own, and enough of you guys voted for him. Enough Republicans and independents voted for him that he's sitting in the Oval Office making $2 billion a year off every deal that comes through the White House. How do you let this happen? And this is directed to the Congress itself. How do you guys put up with this? How do you find that what Trump does is blatantly criminal, but okay if Trump does it, but not okay if somebody else does it? And I mean, Trump's he is, was, and will forever be a lying grifter con man who will say or do whatever he needs to say or do to make it through the next few minutes. He's just an abject loser in every way possible. And, wouldn't you think it'd be possible the way Trump shows off that picture where he's at the military school as a kid? Yeah, we never hear any follow-ups from those things, We never hear, and his close friend from the military academy said. We don't get that kind of stuff. And I said, is there a reason we can't find out how much the war cost? Or is there a reason we can't find out how much the president's golfing outings cost? I mean, and when people refuse to turn over information that you're entitled to, you can usually bet they don't want to turn it over because it goes against them and helps the other person. But you're under a court order to testify. So, guys, let's just kind of leave that for a second, and I want to go to the really, really, really big deal that's going on. The really, really big deal that could just cripple us as a country if it hasn't already crippled us, and that is the debt. And not so much the deficit itself, but it's the fact that people are selling our bonds. They're selling pieces of paper that they bought from the U.S. because they don't believe the U.S. can make good on its terms. People selling our bonds. And, when people sell you bonds, you have to do something to get them to buy the bonds again, right? And how do you do that? Well, you increase the dividend, increase the interest rate. Of course, it costs more, but at least you're holding on to your own bonds and stemming the outflow. The problem is that you can't, Besson can't intervene against the whole economy of the world. Uh, and people like him, they know exactly what's going on. They just don't want to acknowledge it. And while we're on the subject of that kind of stuff, this whole Natalie Hart thing to me is, it's just such a tragedy on so many levels, and yet it's entirely predictable. If Trump gets a chance to have a young woman around him, preferably blonde, he'll do it. And I say what those two may share or have in common, or what gets between them, might not be very much. But she's just fawning all over him, and he needs somebody to fawn all over him. So it's really one of those symbiotic relationships. And I guess they both got to get what they want out of the deal, but Trump's got a little more at stake. And I got to ask you, what do you guys think? Let's be really optimistic, and let's say that we do get the House and the Senate by a comfortable margin. I say we know going in that the investigations aren't going to be particularly productive because the people that know how to conduct those things are gone. I mean, okay, but anyway, assuming we can stick together, and like I say, if you see something marked Democratic Socialist, vote for it. If you see something marked Democrat Communist, vote for it. You find it, Democrat, whatever it is, you vote for it. And if we can put our unity ahead of this, we might be in a position to have such a landslide that we may never have a Republican president again for 50 years or more. I mean, this is the contest to put a little distance between like us and the competition. And like I say, as long as Trump's around, you have to assume the worst because it's usually comports with everyone else's vision of or version of reality. Trump's the only guy I know that has his own reality and doesn't get put in psychiatric help for this. Don't you guys think the guy's clearly in need of some psychiatric help? I mean, he's one of those guys that really should go to therapy at least once or twice a week. But he's insane. He's a lunatic. And the worst thing of all, the worst sin of all, on top of being lying and everything else, it's just he's just he's corrupt. Just he lies, he cheats, he steals. He lies daily, as we all know. He steals everything from land to golf trophies. He does this by shooting around with nobody else on the golf course before it opens, and therefore he is the club champion. The guy's just a worthless POS. And you guys helped elect him. You voted for him. What are you gonna do now? You gonna come? I know you say you didn't vote for this. Well, the hell you didn't. From my perspective, when people tell me they pulled the lever or they voted for Trump and held their nose, I'm like, well, let me ask you something. When you were pulling that lever, you were like kind of against Trump, right? Right. And I said, well, let me ask you, did you how far did you pull that lever? Did you pull like a quarter of the way? Did you pull like halfway? Did you maybe three-quarters of the way so that's almost closed? The guy's just a weasel. And but anyway, this whole bond deal is again the result of Trump's economic policy and just stupid wars. The guy's just I'll give you an example. Before the Iran war, Trump gets a briefing from our military. This is achievable, this isn't achievable, it's not going to be easy, so on and so forth. And then Netanyahu gets out and gives his version of why they should get involved. And after that, you expect some deliberation and, consultation, all that. Instead, after Netanyahu gives his speech, Trump says, sounds good to me. And that's the authorization for war. I mean, that sounds good to me as a reason to launch a war. You can cite all the other reasons or want to believe. But, and another thing, when somebody lives in their own little world that does not comport with reality, isn't that like insanity of some sort? I mean, that is, clearly not all here. Uh, and, say, what are we going to do? Is something worse? I mean, God only knows. But, at least we have this opportunity and we cannot squander it. We have to win by a large enough majority, a large enough margin that there's just absolutely positively no dispute about this. And we know that Trumpers will argue about everything. The problem is they just don't argue the facts. They argue some fantasy world. And again, if you're in a fantasy world, well, more power to you, pal. But once you take get to that padded cell before anything happens. Anyway, so you've got people selling our bonds. The United States word is not credible. You cannot believe that they will continue to pay this interest rate and this interest in principal over 30 years. And it's just when people sell you bonds, that's really hard to come back from, especially when you have an idiot like Trump, because he clearly doesn't. He just doesn't get it. And ordinarily, I would try to be a little kind and all that, but you can't. As much as I admire Michelle Obama, sometimes with some people, you got to fight fire with fire, and usually it's the I can't put ignorant people, but usually it's people that are less educated that are susceptible to being scammed, and I mean, it's clearly nothing to be proud of. Um, but anyway, let's deal with this bond thing. Our debt, our interest on the deficit is I don't know what $5 billion a day. I don't know whatever it is. Uh, the fact of the matter is, it's like the New York Times this morning. We've got to work together, and we can win this. Uh, you can't imagine the just the fatigue factor that Trump causes, and he's 80 years old. I mean, how in the world does the guy even stand? Much less, and, I don't know what percentage of his speech is incomprehensible or inappropriate, but he's the last guy you need. Like I said, with with the president's office and the immunity that especially the way he interprets it. And if I'm not mistaken, the way the immunity doctrine reads is that Trump could order the assassination of Alexandra Livio Cortez, AOC, and if it's in the national interest, well, it's not actionable. Uh, and we've all seen Trump's tendency to blow things so out of proportion that any given response is just bound to come up short, just because you can't address every little thing like that. Uh, but anyway, I digressed long enough, and let's see what else we got here. Did you guys know that work is being completed on the ballroom? Please, God, just buy him some bigger underwear. Along his ballroom at like 20 hours a day. So that's like triple time close to. And, what do you say? Slow up, don't do it. And I don't know how many homeowners are familiar with the way houses, were built to give you a bit of an insight as to how they are built now. And these days you have these camper vans that look like they can go anywhere, and they have the little observation deck, sleeping thing on the roof of the car. And I might be a little too scared to do that. I might be a little afraid something like fly down from the sky and poke me or something. Because it never goes well when I go camping. Trust me. So anyway, he's telling these guys to haul freight, if you know what I mean. And let's see what else is going on. How about this? Trump's attack thy friends, befriend thy enemies approach. And I won't. That was by Peter Baker, coincidentally, New York Times. And the underlying theory is such that it should be beneficial to be a friend of the U.S.'s, and there should be costs to not being a friend of the U.S.'s. And we can understand why Trump wants to fix this, but it could well be just like all his other plans that are clearly wrong, but that he doesn't acknowledge. Why don't he acknowledge? Because he kind of likes being the dominant in the deal. He don't like getting spanked. He'd rather do the spanking. So anyway, let's move right along here, and let's see. Oh, how about this? The UAE stops trading with Iran as a result of all this. Iran doesn't need fewer partners; they need more, and they're getting them. And who else does Iran really need? I mean, does Iran really need? Well, they could use some of those good old generals in Venezuela, Bolivia, wherever it was. So you've just got to assume the guys just, I mean, it's just no fun. So anyway, and I do want everyone to know that the Democracy Radio Network is kind of fun because without it, uh, people. I try to give people an opportunity to call in and share their thoughts and or just vent or whatever it is, because democracyradionetwork.com is a safe, warm, fuzzy place for Democrats. Uh, I'm building this to be the first in a series of counterweights to Fox News. Uh, and the truth of the matter is, if you watch something long enough, you just kind of get grooved to it, and and that's why you see so many people just trying to get a parking place at the last minute. You just can't wait. So, and there's I'm going to head on up to UC Riverside. I had Ada Rosenio is the former chair of the Orange County Democratic Party, and she worked there for like 5 years or so. And Ada knows everybody, and that's why it's really unnerving to realize that money essentially caused her to lose the race. And just a quick word about Ada. She's a Nicaraguan refugee with her parents. Got a job at a hotel when she was young. Later joined the union. I mean, she's just, to my way of thinking, that's an American success story. And how and why you guys make fun of this, I just don't understand. So anyway, let's delve a little deeper into the spanking section, just because we kind of like that. Uh, yeah, I just don't. I have no idea how this works. I just want to, like sail a little bit. And I don't know if those guys, they didn't seem like very good sailors, but maybe they are. I just don't know. Ah, but let's see what else is going on besides the bonds. Oh, and the pen. Let's see. Let's see. Hang on. Ooh, God. Guys, the breeze is kind of picking up here. So Uncle Ab's having a little tough time of it today. Oh, anyway, so this was from Friday, I think. And it says U.S. bonds slide after Besant's buyback fails to calm jitters. Now, is that good? And why would people have jitters? Well, they would have jitters, and wouldn't it be justified because Donald Trump was in charge? Wouldn't it be justified, yeah, with just that sort of debt load alone? I mean, what kind of plan do you guys have? I mean, nobody wants to just tread water not knowing, when your time's up. And I would, offer them join me in a pizza kind of thing, and we'll try to work through some of this. And but anyway, as I get back to the topics at hand, um, how about the way Trump kind of calls off those war games with South Korea, North Korea, whatever it is? Uh, you can't let it go. So anyway, let's so and today's Financial Times was great. This wasn't the New York Times we're talking about. This is the Financial Times from London. And the number one big headline from the Financial Times in London is Warsh seeks to calm investor jitters. Uh, let's try, no, uh, this is a sign of economic strain inverse. And it's some sort of a speech you can give at Jackson Hole. Um, but Warsh and Besant never really are great communicators because they don't care and they don't have to be. It's not their business to make sure everything is explicable. Uh, and like what I really liked from that was there's a quote in there that if the Treasury tries to defend some rate level, things are going to go very badly. And so what do you think that is? What would it take for your system to break down? And if it did break down, how long would it take to get it back up? I mean, some of those kids don't, I'm not saying they do it for quarters in the bathroom, but I'm saying that there's more than enough opportunities you know, to be a creepy guy if I wanted, but I really try not to do that. And anyway, let's kind of get back to the topics at hand because I don't have a whole lot of time to waste this morning. So let's try to make it. Let's try to make it count. And I said the people generally don't like, at least the market people don't particularly like Warsh because he doesn't give any sort of guidance. And matter of fact, the Fed used to do that, but not anymore. And institutions are having a hard time adjusting. Why? Because they're institutions; they don't change very quickly. And some of them might even call you a commie for doing this. But again, you've got to remember the source of information. And I wonder if it's possible if somebody who's like on the golf course with Trump and Natalie, is it possible like see what an email account looks like in her name? I mean, I'd really like to be able to get in and out of it. Yeah, wouldn't everybody? So just kind of let me know if it's still open. I don't I don't mind that kind of stuff. I'm eh, into the pizza, so to speak. So anyway, and so now we are at the trade war with Canada, and Trump says, "Oh, well, whatever you send over, we're going to add 50% of a tariff tax to it, and let's see how your guys like it now. Let's see how your customers call complaining." And how the wholesaler guide tells you how great everything is going. So somebody's not kosher here, and I think I hate to go on a limb, but I think we know just who that person might be. Uh, so anyway, what do you do? I hope what's her name doesn't get terribly tied up or abused anyway, because that's clearly not part of the deal. And I just, yeah, I just want to mellow out with people, introduce them to Democracy Radio Network, and as long as they promise to call in at some point, we are good. And anyway, we'll kind of leave that alone and get back into the live stream that's ours or mine or whoever's it might be. Let's see here. And of course, these Canada 50% tariffs are just, that's assuming they were bought as cheaply as possible, maybe like in France. And, France has its own financial struggles. Um, but, one of my friends' uncles was a really big deal. And he started the Democratic Party in Charleston after World War II. I mean, he's just, I introduced Bobby Kennedy during his run. Just an all right guy. And then what happens? He gets shot. Kurt Busch gets shot like in the neck. What does he do? Well, guys, sorry, we just had to check a little something. I want to remind everybody the number to call in is once again 949-629-3820. And let's say, let us know how you feel about this stuff. How do you feel about Trump's $2 billion a year windfall? And how about his kids? And I cannot understand how the Justice Department well, I mean, I can understand it just because it's a shady organization as it exists. But seriously, is there any business in the world that you think Trump ought to be running? I mean, because he's doing such an exemplary job here, right? I mean, his poll numbers are like, down what, mid to high 20s? Uh, this is, and I hope he doesn't expect any better, because it's kind of like when you screw people, you kind of can expect to get screwed. And I always think that's, whenever I see a first aid thing I need from the Food for Less, I'll go there just because they are more or less the same as the Dollar Tree. But anyway, we all have our own preferences, and we'll get to mine later. But people are really upset about this, and I mean, I don't. Like I said, Trump is just such an unlikable person. He doesn't even bother to try to like or be friendly with. He just does what he wants, and he tries to pay you off if you ask too many questions. And guess what? Money's not the easiest thing to come by. So maybe they did, start a new little enterprise that's not entitled to the song. Uh, Beyond that, everybody's just got to stand firm on their rights. I think the one of the really important things here will be voting by mail or early voting. And I don't, because we've never been through this before. A lot of it we don't know. Uh, but what kind of a court? I mean, shouldn't the Supreme Court have jurisdiction over whether the chief of the agency is sane or not, is lucid or not? Uh, if he's sane, great. If he's insane, well, it's been nice knowing you, pal. So let's see about some of those older women calling and chatting. 949-629-3820. We are just dying to hear what you got to say. Um, And I said, on top of Besson's buyback that scam or scheme, the really lousy thing that it does is it distorts things by taking a large number of older fish out of the way. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the big 72-pounder like they caught in, I want to say, Cape May or so, New Jersey the other day. I mean, that's a big fish there. Just out of curiosity, anybody do any scuba diving? Yeah, I don't. And matter of fact, I have this thing that I really don't know why anybody would spend any length of time underwater. I mean, I kind of get it with it. Like if you're in maybe 30-foot deep water and you've got the shipwreck right in front of you, and sharks just swimming by, like doing what sharks do. But yeah, this is going to be distinctly different, and I don't. And this whole inflation thing makes investors really kind of worry, because I mean, our inflation plan is complicated, and if Treasury would put honest answers important, we know a little more where to go. But right now, we have just got to organize and get out and vote. You know, you, the best thing you can do to a bully, right? When he's bullying you, you can either, if your back is to him, you can roll around and snap his fist or something. Or I kind of like this. Or you can twirl around really quickly, go to your knees, and then, oops, bandage hurts. And isn't that nice? I mean, you had to make a few dollars, and that's pretty much a good way to make it, isn't it? We're always happy to help. And the next time, talk about help, I want to give a shout out to Dan Rocha down in Artesia. And I also want to call out Donald Torres in what's that? God, I'll have to look it up. Anyway, they both travel as bluegrass touring musicians, which is really great. And one of those things just didn't work right. I forgot what it was, but finally I took it back to O'Reilly, and they gave me a new one. So I kind of was hoping they might put it in, but no, it was not to be. They are not doing this. And let's see here. So, guys, what are we going to do here? We've got this persistent inflation problem that will not go away. And you have a guy in Trump who looks at it and says, "Oh, I used to work here." I mean, I always think that the Senate meeting room should always hold at least 10 to 12 people, and it probably does hold more. So, anyway, you know the way I feel about it. Let's see what else we got to mosey on about. Uh, how about U.S. inflation? You know, do we uh, do we seek out that cheeseburger taco place? Do we try something else? I mean, God only knows. Uh, but and did you know there's a Texas oil driller that's calling for lifelong ban on seal products for too many? Uh, T scores defense. F rebounds. Oh gosh, sorry about that. Almost sort of spaced out there for just a second. It was I tell you, I had a kind of a weird night's sleep. I didn't get to bed until after 11, and of course, I'm up at 4 to go to the gym, and then go work out, hit the sauna, get cleaned up, and that gives me like an hour or so to hang at Starbucks, and then another few minutes before some brutal fat woman is tested. Oh gosh. So anyway, these interest rates are just such a worldwide problem, and there's just not many tools to deal with it. So, and if when Trump says, "Oh, it's the affordability," but he makes fun of it, he does like milieu, milieu. Uh, he tries to do it just exclusively enough so people won't think he just drove through Taco Bell, and he does just because the guy's a pig. But anyway, we can't help all that, so we're going to concentrate on our deal here, and our deal here is I'm going to do, something else I forgot to mention. And I usually mention this at the beginning of every show. But I want to suggest to our friends and, I can't say fellow Republicans, but anyway, I want to invite you guys to come to the website and look up Madam Blank and give it a whirl. So as I'm sitting there yesterday at OCC, a guy says, I've got the pass. Can we go? And I'm like, well, sure. But then I noticed the guy's like, doesn't really get how to, get a vote out of the slip. So life is not without its challenges, but that was a huge shift to keep track of. And when Trump cancels or reduces the military exercises uh, with Korea, the Japan has to kind of make plans. I mean, Japan doesn't have a plan B, if you can imagine that. A U.S. president losing his war of independence on rare earths is just beyond extortion. Trump shows defense flip reminds Japan has no plan B. And that's something else I kind of like to wonder about. Does the Molten Yale Water District say have a plan B for getting in some other way and all that stuff? Like I say, I'm kind of bashful, so let me know. Now I have no idea why those ones just dropped from the bottom, but you gotta leave. Somebody will stop. Uh, oh well, guys, I don't know quite what to tell you. We're kind of a hurting cowboy right now, but it ain't gonna be the first time this old cowboy spent the night alone. Hey, you heard that? If you haven't, I just thought I'd bring it up to you. What's it? Handheld Herbert. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, guys, you did have it better before I got here. I don't think the input levels account for a whole lot, at least with this with the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 or whatever it is. I may need something else that they can put a third or fourth headphone into, but we'll see what we can do before we get taken out of our secret undisclosed location on Newport Harbor. Oh gosh. Guys, I shouldn't do this, but I'm really tired. Like I said, I didn't get to bed till after 11 and was up. A matter of fact, it was like 4 o'clock and still got some hair burning. And yeah, I'm just getting the burning done. I'm not gonna make you do it, but here it is. And guys, I'm at I see if you look up Coast Yacht Sales, you'll see some boats for sale. And if you see one that says Pacific Seacraft or something from North Carolina, would you please send that to me? I'm kind of looking at one now. I'd like to have one to go into the reverse mortgage with. And that would be like a 28-foot boat. So it's just a little longer than a Harbor 20, much faster because all it has to be is a leveled action radiator. Uh, so anywho, now it would have been much nicer if they had that race like around the battery, because they have those long straightaways and God, those horrible concrete. Somebody at least 3 cars would not have made it today. And you know what? It's awfully good when they just kind of take it in the shorts and don't even bother trying. I know. Uh, so we're gonna have to see. I was kind of like I said, kind of bummed to have Chidi cancel out on us today, but David will be on with us tomorrow instead, and we'll look forward to chatting then. And all we can really do is, oh, actually, I don't know how this works. So I'm hoping somebody there will have a little mercy on me and will help me with the understanding. But I used to go to the Sikh temple, which is called a Gurdwara, and every Sunday after services, you kind of go near there, and they have just a huge spread of Indian food. Volunteers cook it, volunteers ladle it out, and apparently Paul was working with him in the meeting room, and he looks over and Dave's asleep. So of course, being it's you know direct from John Mayall's All Stars, the guitar starts up again, and it just rocks from there. So anyway, I highly recommend Jeff Beck's first two albums if you're vaguely interested. Ron Stewart sings with them, and they have classics such as Morning Dew or The Shapes of Things and all that. So yeah, I'll try to make an appointment with such and such ASAP. And if they don't do the pharmaceutical stuff, I'll just have to turn them down. So anyway, I'll assume things are going to go well, just because I kind of like being a diehard optimist. I do have friends that are much more deserving of the title than me, but it ain't a perfect world, pal. So let's move on with it. I think we have exactly 1 week for Augie to get in his car ride with the top down before we get to go to the Aston Martin. And guys, we really like it. We really like these things. And how this no eye test approval, no nothing. I like that. I can't believe nobody's billing me for something. But you never know. You never know, do you? You just never know. Famous last words, huh? Uh, so let's see here. So guys, I want to talk to you for a second about expanding the Democracy Radio Network. There are times. There's no one set time when it's great to expand. She might be one of two, one of three, but usually that doesn't happen anymore. But let's assume that things started getting a little iffy before this. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, let's say that Manny wants to take it in the bahunkus. I think we let her own cocktail shots, don't you? Uh, and of course, T drinks less than somebody else put together. Oh, guys, I'm starting to get a little tired here. I'm going to call it a little show a little early at some point. I'll try and hang with you as much as I can. As of now, we're just pulling the same lever and hoping we get a different result. But guys, I'm incredibly tired. The uh, there was noise in front of me, and I'm sorry, in front of me, noise from the house right next to me until like 11 or so, and I just never got to sleep. So anyway, that's my problem, not yours. Oh, I think that's they've got a little group gathering over there. I didn't see who they were, but anyway, as we come back, guys, I'm really serious about this Democratic unity stuff. If we can do this, and if we can start taking America back, we will have a chance. It might take a decade, but at least we'll have a chance. And oh, by the way, let's not forget Trump's request for the master list of U.S. spies. And now tell me this isn't criminal. First of all, you never keep those kind of names together. And no, it's always on a need to know. Because usually when these guys get involved, bad things happen, and it's equally likely it'll happen to them as from them. Uh, so you guys just you can't let up on this. Let's say Democratic Socialists, Democratic Communists. I don't Democratic bank robbers. I don't know anything short of like Democratic pedos. I would vote for. And like I say, guys, if I have learned the lesson of in many we trust, and that the same old Benjamin Franklin thing, we can all hang together, we can all hang separately. Well, I do think it's better when you hang together. Uh, I'm sure the Swamp Fox, General Francis Marion, would have something a little different to say. But hey, Deb, what now? Oh, okay. Thanks. Uh, so anyway, we're getting a little tour group through here, and one of my favorite people I just ran into, Debbie Dunn, and Debbie is one of the as a sailing instructor, but she's also got like 100-ton master license. So she'll do the so she drives the Balboa Water Ferry like once twice a week. And it's always good to see her. She's a yeah, she's the kind of person that you can respect really easily. I mean, her accomplishments are they're many, and never ever brags about it. I mean, the most humble person you would ever want to meet. So anyway, if anybody wants some really fine person to teach give a little sailing instruction, Debbie Dunn, and just give me a call or email, and I will make sure you guys get hooked up because I really like it when when the junior sailing stuff or even the senior sailing stuff picks up. My favorite thing is to watch like kids in the junior sailing program in the summer and they'll t-bone each other. They'll t-bone the dog. It just cracks me up. I remember this one little girl. They're like two boats tied kind of next to each other at the dock, and there was maybe like a foot in between them. Not not much room. And looked up, and there's this little girl like trying to get to the dock, but to go on the angle to sail on the angle she's sailing on means she's gonna like T-bone the dock and knock these two boats to smithereens, which of course she did. And you had to feel sorry for her because she just kind of flipped out and didn't really know what to do. So she just steered right in there. Didn't go right, didn't go left, just headed right in. Uh, so again, and I didn't. Yeah, I'm sure. I'd like to think that with little instructions, you'll never ever do that again. But God only knows. So anyway, guys, like I said, it's been kind of a warm Friday, warm Monday here, and Av is a little out of sorts with his neighbor working till like 11 or after, and Uncle Ab needs a few hours worth of sleep. And another thing, before we go, I tell people I don't ask you to click the donate button or tap it, whatever it is. I don't want you to do that because what I want you to do is I want you to find the PayPal donate link and smash the living daylights out of it so that Uncle Ab gets a decent head start on food, clothing, and shelter, which are like his three big addictions that kind of deserve to be serviced, don't you think? I mean, if you got a decent guy, he's working to feed his family, can't we give him a little slack? And like Trump's just he's just an idiot. I love the Franny Leibowitz thing the other day though. Franny's one of those avant-garde New York photographers, and was asked about Trump the other day, and she says something like, "The scary part is that he's stupid." And she's like, "You don't know anybody as stupid as Donald Trump." And then she looks over and says, "Trust me, you don't." Like, jeez. So that's how bad things are. I mean, the economy's going down the tubes lately, and you've got a guy saying how great it is. I mean, he's just delusional, and I cannot figure out for the life of me why somebody can be delusional and still be a candidate for the presidency. That just kind of stretches the boundaries of credibility. But it's not unlike what a lawyer will do. So, and in that regard, I'm going to try to get down one day this week, only because the falafel stuff that I had last night was not really good, and so now I want like the good one, which means we'll have to go to a local. I'll have to take my life in my hands and go to like the local Palestinian Lebanese. What's that? Oh, I forgot the name of the army. Is that like the Hezbollah Party of God guys? And if there's a party of God, he's probably not partying too much, just kind of going out on a limb. So anyway, guys, like it's getting to be a little late, and I'm just starting to fade tremendously. My voice is starting to go, and like I said, just the 4 hours sleep just didn't quite do it for me. And it might have been less than that, but who counts? And the answer is I do, I do. You can see we still got a little cough in mind, and like I said, there's ain't much to do except this. There is really well. There's a couple things I want you to do. Smash that donate button is one, and the second thing I want to do is I want to thank everybody for hanging with me in this kind of nice Monday, the 24th. And I really hate doing this because I love going to school with everybody, but I'm gonna have to call it a timeout here. My throat's just about gone. So anyway, guys, what I want you to do from here on out is, and you know what we're gonna say, I want you to take care, stay well, hang out, and it's Roger. Welcome over and out. We are out of here, guys. But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, instead of being out for the Roger Wilco over and out, maybe it helps when you actually like click the button. So let's try it again. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time. What are we